hello. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. I'm Jade Harrell, and I'm joined by Amber Clear and Jamie Ballantyne Dolby. Ladies, hello and welcome back.
Hey, Sunshine.
Hello.
Well, that's what I'm loving. You know, I always want to know what's on your radar, and I'm loving the sunshine. Amber, what are you loving right now?
I am loving my garden and my chickens and my yard and just being able to be out there and have peace in my garden and know that I can provide for myself. And then also that all the festivals are starting again. I recently went to a Viking festival. I went to some food festivals and I'm just excited for festival season.
Me too. You got some collard greens in there. I can come
I
and
do
sip
actually.
on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like a date, honey. Jamie, what are you loving?
I'm loving baseball season. I'm loving that we're back at the stadium, full capacity. And I'm excited that they're going to be playing the Yankees this year. So I'm excited for a little New York STL versus on the field.
Well, I know you have fun stirring up the rivalry, but you really do have a lot of fun in the competition and the connection between the cities. So that's really dope.
Absolutely.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about today, so I don't want to spend too much time enjoying outside of our conversation. But when we come back, we have so much to fill you in on. You'll know what I mean in just a minute coming up. And welcome back to Let's Talk. Everyone dislikes those pesky potholes, and many have come about due to the inclement weather. Joining us today to fill us in on those potholes is Street Department Director Betherny Williams. She was appointed by Mayor Jones in September, becoming the first African-American female to serve in this role. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Betherny Williams. Hello, Ms. Betherny, running the streets, I see.
Hello, and thank you for this opportunity. It is a nice day here in the city of St. Louis, and the Streets Department is out doing what we do, maintaining the streets.
Well, that's right. Well, what is the word on the street? You've got some sunshine now. I've seen a few crews out there. What's it like? How does it feel for you to have this role and be appointed?
So first, it's an absolute honor. I've been here in the city of St. Louis now for probably roughly 16 years, in Missouri for almost 18 years. And so I've always taken pride in wanting to be of service and wanting to know how can I utilize my skills that I've learned through the years to improve the transportation system for the city of St. Louis. And when I say transportation system, I'm thinking more of the big picture. How can we look at traffic flow? How can we maintain our streets better so that your travel is peaceful and pleasant as you go to work and go home from work and picking your kids up, as well as, every day out on the road. I want to make sure that those driving experiences are as pleasant as possible. And so that's what I bring to the Streets Department every day.
Well, I'm not familiar, and I wonder if some other viewers are, what the Street Department actually does. It sounds like you're making life easier, but what lured you to the streets, and why is that so valuable and important to us?
So why is it valuable? I come with a civil engineering degree. I worked for the Missouri Department of Transportation for 17 years before getting this appointment. And so it's just an absolute honor. I think that some of my experiences, me working in the research laboratory in Jefferson City, some of my background work, a lot of people may remember me from the I-270 North project or the STEM Cathedral Veterans Memorial Bridge, just really a lot of hands-on construction project work, being out in the field every day. And I just think those are some of the concepts that the new administration and Mayor Jones wanted to share with the city and explore better opportunities for the city.
I wanted to open that up for our crew, but you were earmarked for this, selected and appointed by Mayor Jones. What are some of the goals? What are you both, and what does the administration want to accomplish?
So a couple of things that the administration wants to accomplish. One is looking at the people. People are very important. Without the people, you have no organization, you have no department. And so I've spent a lot of times, really my first couple months, just really diving into the care of the people in the streets department. One, I have learned they are dedicated and they love the work that they do, and they are true public servants to the city of St. Louis. And so how can I enhance that and encourage them in the culture of thank you for what they do is one of the things that I have really tried to implement. On the larger scale, looking at the timing of signals, making sure that when we sit at a signal, why are we sitting here so long? Why is it 11 o'clock at night? No one else is at this intersection and the signal would not turn green. Why am I stopping? Those simple questions, and just looking at optimizing the timing of the signals and making sure they coordinate for our different peak times of travel throughout the city is something that we're really working on, and we're really hitting the ground in FY23. You will see some changes with our optimization of our signals in the city of St. Louis. When we look at pavement, identifying pavement treatments, I spend time in the lab identifying what do we do with different types of pavement, what works, what will not work, looking at different weight loads, different capacities. And so that's something else that we're looking at. Are we utilizing the right materials as we're filling potholes? How do we repave the entire city? What type of plan are we on? How do we evaluate our pavements? That's one big thing that I always encourage the employees. So how do you evaluate this? How do you know the life expectancy? Everything has a life expectancy. And in some cases, we expect pavements to live past their life expectancy. And so what we're seeing in the city of St. Louis is just that. A lot of our pavements have met their life expectancy. So we're putting plans in place to get better pavements out.
Well, I know that you just dropped a whole lot of what you do on us, and I am so proud of you, first of all, because I think this has to be a male-dominated environment. So I want to know how you got into this. Like how is this career? How were you brought here? Like what started you in the civil engineering department?
So I originally started out as a nurse. I wanted to be a nurse from childhood. That was my dream job. I wanted to be a nurse. My favorite aunt was a nurse, and I wanted to follow in her footsteps. And so that's what I was doing. And I got to college and realized that the nursing school had a 2-year wait list to get in. And so I was out of state at the time, and my mom was like, yeah, you need to make some decisions. And so I started looking at different options. I know that I've always had a love for science and math. And so that's what played a major part. And on the backside of that, my grandfather was a civil engineer. He had his own construction company in Texas, and that's where I spent my summers. And so I just felt like that may be a good transition for me, as well as a lot of the classes in science and math, they transferred over. And it wasn't as much of a backset for me to switch over to civil engineering. And so that's where my love for engineering, like I said, I worked in the laboratory. My undergraduate research was, based off of looking at the future, looking at pavements and evaluating different types of pavement. So that's why it was really good for me to get into civil engineering. And I just think I have the heart. And so that's what allows me to just continue to be share my love for people, because I'm being a public servant and working in government work. I really get the opportunity to still share that love that a nurse, that tender care of a nurse would have shared, but also building bridges and roadways and designing. And so that's the highlight of my day.
So crazy that you went from nursing to this, because nursing's so female dominant. And I feel like the field you're in is probably very heavy male. Were there any other females in your program or in the lab you worked in?
So there were two other females in my class when we graduated, and
How big was the class?
my class was 20 of us. It
Okay.
wasn't that many of us in the class, and it was two females in the class. One had transferred to Southern University and joined the class by, I think it was like our junior year, she joined in. But before then, it was just me. And backstory, I have two male cousins. I'm an only child. And so I was kind of used to being the only girl in the room and having to claim my space. So it was kind of easy for me to jump into, my lab work. And then as I got into my career being the only female, now it's just like a whole department. And I try to encourage the women here for Women's History Month. We took a photo, just tell them thank you, things like that. And so just because it's not a lot of us. And so we have to support each other. Absolutely. And allow people to see us in these roles.
Are you guys hiring right now?
Yes, we're always hiring. If you know anyone that wants to drive a trash truck or a snowplow truck or fill potholes, it's a dirty job, but we have a lot of fun. And I try to share my smile as much as I can to keep them encouraged and coming in the door.
Is your department connected to the Department of Transportation? Is there overlap there with DOT, MoDOT?
So we partner a lot. All of our intersections, major arterials are crossing in some manner with the DOT. So we do a lot of communicating together and working together on projects. We try to collaborate on street closures and upcoming events. So we're always in communication with the DOT and how we do business.
All right, lock and step. Well, ladies, we still have so much to talk about, but we need to take a quick break. So please stay with us and we'll have more with the City of St. Louis's Street Department Director, Betherny Williams, when we come back. Stay close.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. We're talking with Betherny Williams, the director for the City of St. Louis Department of Streets. Before we get started, let's take a look at how the first winter went for the crews under this new leadership. Take a look.
The St. Louis Streets Department does many important jobs, but especially during inclement weather, the department keeps the streets clear of snow for residents and emergency vehicles.
My first snow as director of streets here with the City of St. Louis. I think our crews did an awesome job. They put their crews to work and we were able to achieve what we were looking for to clear the snow from our majors and our minor routes.
Snow crews prepped to clear the roads by filling trucks with salt for street treatment, while drivers jumped into the plow trucks.
We did clean over 1,000 streets. We were able to start looking at our residentials this time. And so our crews they just had the energy and was ready to get out and take care of the majors and the minors.
Mayor Tashara Jones visited the department during a shift change to thank the crew and bring them World's Fair donuts as a token of gratitude from the city.
One thing about the streets department, the crews are here, they are dedicated. These employees, they want to work and they want to represent the city. And I am proud of that and I'm proud to serve as their director.
I see that you've hit the ground running, Betherny. Thank you so much for sharing and joining us again today for a better understanding. Jamie, I know you have some questions that are pressing you too.
I do. I was interested when you said you were one of two women in your class in college. How has the industry changed as far as women in civil engineering and women in similar roles across the U.S.? How has that shaped your career, or do you see any other Black women as streets directors in cities across the United States?
So it has changed a lot. This is a male dominant world, and it's important that we allow young African-American women and women in general to see themselves in these roles. So that's why I do thank you all for this platform, so that I can share and let children know, as well as women know, that it is reachable and it is obtainable, and you can get here if you want to. In this role, one good thing about either my sorority life or being in this role, as you grow in leadership, sometimes it gets a little narrower when it comes to females in these roles. And so we have developed a partnership. The emails, the outpour of love and support from females in this role across the country, reaching out to me to say, we got your back, anything you need, we're here to help you. And so it has really opened up. I think that every day I'm looking at different cities and trying to compare and see what's best for the city of St. Louis. And I'm looking at their org chart and I'm like, look at the number of females that we have here. Anytime I interview for a new position in leadership, I automatically think can I put a minority in these roles? Can I put a female in these roles so that they can see us in these roles? It's not a takeover, it's just a different day, and we're here to show our talents and say that we can do this work as well.
I love that. I love that how it's also being very intentional. And I think a woman, when they get in those positions, we have to be intentional and aware that also we're bringing the right candidates so they have the opportunity to even interview for these positions. When you think about streets, I happen to know a little bit about what the streets department, and you've really expanded upon that of what you all do. What type of roles are you currently hiring for at the streets department in the city of St. Louis?
So right now we are always looking for our truck drivers. The streets department is made up of our street maintenance department, our division. We have our towing division, we have our refuse division, and we have our traffic and lighting department. And across all of these, we do so many different functions. And so right now we're really focused on the boots on the ground crew members that we can have to come out and actually do a lot of this work. As we grow in FY23 and 24, we will look at different leadership positions and creating positions. I think now I'm kind of just wanting to see what are all the functions of the streets department before we can clearly say, okay, let's add more leadership. Are we too top heavy? Do we need more boots on the ground? This department is made up of probably full capacity about 500 employees in this department. Well, right now we're literally trying to hold on to 375, 380. So you could just imagine the number of vacancies that I do have. So I would encourage anyone that is interested in employment with the streets department, you go to the city website and fill out an application, drop me an email at any time, and we will make sure I talk you through the process. A lot of it may be challenging. People may see, oh, I don't want this. This is not what I thought it was going to be, but let's talk about it and see where we can move you around in the best fit for you. So there's always openings in the streets department.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Hopefully we can get those positions filled, because I think if we don't have the positions filled, it's really hard to address a lot of the issues. So if you're complaining about your street, you might want to pass the notice to your cousin. That might help get things
yes I tell people that all the time. Always encourage people to apply for jobs. We will train them. We have people here that do the CDL trainings. We will train the crews with the boots on the ground. So if you come here and you have the heart and the mind to want to be a public servant and work for the city of St. Louis, we will do our part in training you and making you the best employee.
I think we should have some trash truck Olympics. Like, I want to be the celebrity judge, and I want it to be some trash truck Olympics. I want to see some street races.
Is morale? That's a great point. That's a great point, Amber. Is morale a part of why you have the vacancies? What do you attribute to the turnover and why there are so many openings to fill? And how do you encourage folks in that?
So we've had a lot. Our turnover is based off of a lot of people that have retired One of the main things you see in the city of St. Louis, pay is one thing. A lot of people have left for better opportunities, and you never want to stunt someone's growth, or you always want people to live to their full potential. So it's always, a double-edged sword. Like, I don't want you to leave, but I want you to be the best that you can be for yourself and for your family. And so that's what we're seeing a lot of now. And so with the pandemic, we lost a lot of people. A lot of people stayed home. They just didn't return to work. We're seeing a lot of breakdown in our goods and services. And so we're filling it in the streets department with everyday duties that we do, picking up the trash, filling potholes, looking at the number of crews that we normally would have on the field, out in the field. We just don't have that now. But we're still committed to the city of St. Louis and doing our best every day.
Do you guys have hiring incentives right now going on?
Yes, we do have hiring incentives. If you want to apply for a truck driver, or if you want to apply for a refuge driver, which is a trash truck driver, we have a $3,000 incentive now. If you make it through your work and test period, you will be qualified for the $3,000 incentive. So tell people, I always try to put it out there, we have incentives and we're willing to work with you.
So do you have to have a CDL to drive a trash truck? Is that a CDL you would trade for?
Yes, you will have to have a CDL, but like I said, we have programs. We've partnered with other departments, with Slate, to look at how can we get funding to put in a CDL training so that these people are ready. The pipeline, we're trying to develop that pipeline so that we can sustain this department.
For sure. Very excited. It sounds like you're able to address the holes inside and outside with strategic solutions that are lasting and sustainable. The very way you're looking at the lifespan of pavement, you're looking at the sustainability and lifespan of your entire division. What fuels that? How are you all funded or taken care of? Is the infrastructure bill something that impacts your ability to respond to your needs as well?
Yes, so the infrastructure bill, we're looking at our major arterials. How can we repave from north to south, all the way across some of our major arterials? We will be utilizing some of those funds to start that process. And then that will allow me to get it in to city budget, to city works budget, that we can continue to move that forward and put it on a schedule to redo these pavements. So that is one thing we will see in the infrastructure bill.
Well, it sounds like we can help with recruiting by spreading the word. Are there any
Yes.
other ways that we can be a benefit and help your efforts?
I always encourage people to put in CSB reports. If you are a citizen and you have a concern, please put it in. I've challenged my employees to look at, I want accountability. And we have to make sure that the communities know that we're here to service them. So every week, once a week, I'm asking for numbers. How many CSB reports do we have in some of our same wards? How many CSB reports that we're just not able to fill? And how many are we closing out every month and every week? So every function that we do in the streets department, I'm looking at it on a holistic basis. How are we getting it out and honoring our commitment to the city of St. Louis to be of service to the residents? So that is the main thing. We are just here to be accountable. I think that's one thing that I take pride in. And so I'm making sure that I pour into the employees as we pour into the citizens of St. Louis.
Well, I am certainly, if I may speak for the crew, so proud of your appointment. And we've got somebody who truly cares and is about that business. And definitely bringing your lifelong experience and passion to it. I know we're the beneficiaries. So Betherny, thank you so much for joining us today. If you would like additional information or you're interested in working with the street department, be sure to visit us at stlewis-mo.gov. That's stlewis-mo.gov. We need to take one last break, but stay with us. More Let's Talk when we return. Thank you, Betherny.
Thank you for having me.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Ladies, I have to tell you, I am definitely inspired. Like, who knew how much work that was and what it entailed? I'm glad to know the word on the street. They got jobs on the street and they're fixing the street. But there's so much to it, but,
$3,000 incentive for me.
Yeah.
Right.
And the training, the paid training.
Yes.
Right.
I
And
am
the fact
so
that
serious about these trash truck Olympics. That could be a morale booster. I could get to drive a trash truck. They could have potholes that they have to like swerve to avoid. That'd be fun.
I want to hold the
nationally
flags when
Yes,
for the
I'm
finish,
telling you.
for the finishing lap.
Could be national
Let's all have that. You
for
can have
trash
it.
truck Olympics. We could have the best.
I mean, we need to have categories, but what really inspires me with her being the first African-American woman to hold that role here, the doors are now open. And she's committed to that, opening doors for us, for others, and leading the way, not just in public service, but we're talking engineering even, you know, the very STEM and deep dive into what really makes and holds our communities together.
Absolutely.
So
I
who's
love
gonna
it.
be the
I think also just her willingness to be to make sure that she's no longer the first or the only, and people don't have to keep saying that. So I think that her willingness to fill some of these positions with women and with Black women, and to take the initiative to do that. You have to make sure you're doing the work to make sure we can have that diverse workforce.
Mm-hmm. Well, the fact that she said yes, she walked in it, she stepped up to it, and she's bringing her all. First of all, we wouldn't have even known about this to this degree had she not risen to the occasion in her own personal life. So that definitely encourages me. All right, we're going to make that happen. It's unfortunately we're out of time, but we'll begin decorating our trash trucks if Betherny says we can get this event underway. But we'd like to thank her once more, Betherny Williams from the City of St. Louis Street Department. Thank you for joining us. And the show may be over, but you could always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, or just visit us at stltv.net. I'm Jade Harrell for Amber Clear and Jamie Ballantyne Dolby. We'll see you next time on Let's Talk.
Then we're gonna let Jade over here. She coughing. There we go. That's perfect.
That's better. Okay.
That's better. Okay. And now we have about 2 minutes left in this segment while Jade over here coughing up a lung.
I want to drive a trash truck.
Okay, good job, ladies.
Okay.
If we need to do like an on-site thing, I will volunteer to go drive a trash truck.
Thank you.
I like driving fun things. I'm your